Okay, so I want to talk about the importance of being positive, being calm, and just being persistent and consistent. All of those factors are really, really important during success. So there's a former FBI negotiator, and he said that if you're calm and you're positive, you are 31% smarter. Okay, 31% is huge. That's a huge jump. Okay, so if you're worried and you're nervous, or you're being frantic and you're panicking, it doesn't really help anything. It very, very rarely helps the situation. You need to be able to stay calm even during stressful situations. So even when things are going wrong and everything seems to be, everything seems to be ending, you have to be able to stay calm, because if you're able to stay calm, it's a lot easier to think through the process, and you're more likely to come to a good solution. So what I've realized throughout my life is that there's like three stages of thought when you're stressed or when you're panicking, right? So when you're trying to come up with an idea, when you're stressed and you're panicking, the first idea usually, it's not always, but it's usually, is a bad idea. Okay, the first idea is usually a bad one. It's because you're freaking out. You don't know what to do. You're doing this, you're doing that. You're going everywhere, right? Again, this isn't always the case, but I've always noticed that most of the time, the first idea is usually the bad idea. The second thought that you have, well, it might not be the second, but it's like later down the stage, once you get through that first phase. The second phase after that is when you start coming up with like mediocre ideas. Like they usually, they could be more challenging, or they could be a little bit easy. It might just be you trying to cut corners, okay? So this is you coming up with an okay idea, okay? And then you go through to stage 3, which is the good idea, okay? So you have these 3 stages, and what I've noticed is the more you panic and the more you stress, the longer you get stuck here. It's the longer you get stuck there. Like you come up with like a really bad idea. So for example, it could be like right now in some countries, like while we're doing this recording, there's the coronavirus and everyone's talking about it. So there's a lot of stores where they've run out of toilet paper. So there's some people that are freaking out, right? So the first idea they might have is a really bad idea. They might be like, let's say for example, they have a baby, okay? And they're like, my baby, there's no toilet paper and it doesn't have any diapers. The first idea might be a bad idea. The first idea might be like, well, I'll just let the baby walk around. And then when the baby poos, I'll just clean it up off the floor with my bare hands. Like that. The first idea is not a great idea. But then you start coming through with the okay ideas. You might be thinking, okay, well look, what I could do is I could just get like a towel. I could just get a towel. I could just tie it around the baby. I could put like pins on it, like as a makeshift diaper. You could buy reusable diapers. You could just buy normal underwear and just wash it when the child goes to the toilet. There's loads of different solutions that are okay ideas. And then there might be like the good idea, which might be, okay, look, let me try and drive around to different stores. Let me try and check. Maybe knock on some doors. Maybe make a WhatsApp group of different parents in the area so that you can all communicate. Like, hey, I've got spare diapers. Like, can we exchange them? Or maybe like as a team, you guys are trying to find diapers and you help each other, like work as a community. That's a good idea, okay? But the point is, like when you're stressed and you're freaking out, you normally start here and you get stuck here if you don't calm down. So you want to calm down. The longer you have to think about it, and the calmer you are, usually the faster you get through these different phases. So it's really, really important that you're able to stay calm through bad situations. Like for example, like this was, I don't know, I think it's like a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't long ago. When I was in Malaysia, and I was trying to fly, and my flight got cancelled. And I didn't stress out. I just stayed really calm, and I was like, okay, well, what do we do from here? And the only option that I had was to just buy another ticket, which is what I did. I went and found a counter and I bought another ticket. But someone that's freaking out and panicking, they'll be arguing with the person at the, at the desk, at the check-in desk. They'll be arguing with them. They're fighting with them. They'll spend hours there arguing and freaking out and making phone calls, but not doing anything proactive. And then if they did all that, they would have missed the flight that I alternatively got. Like I just went across and just got a different ticket and then I just flew out, right? But if I'd have spent ages arguing with the person and spending, God knows the amount of times there, I wouldn't have been able to do that. It would not have been an option for me. I would have put myself in a corner because I would have missed that flight. I'd have then had to pay for a hotel and then get another flight, and it would have just dragged out. So the key here is to stay calm. The other thing as well I tend to notice is if you're speaking to someone and you're freaking out, you'll make the other person freak out as well, which it doesn't tend to help. So let's say, for example, I once went to a hotel and there was I'd already made a reservation, and in fact, I'd already paid. And I turned up and I said to the cashier, I was like, hey, I've already made a reservation, I've already paid, and everything else. Okay. Now, I was able to stay calm and communicate with the person and say to them like, hey, because when I turned up, he said, there's no reservation, your name isn't on it, everything else, right? Now, some people that, they're freaking out, they don't know what to do, or whatever, but I managed to stay calm and I communicate with that person. Now, if you freak out, and I've done this as well, if you freak out and start like yelling at the person, they tend to pull back. They don't want to communicate with you now. So you're yelling and they go, never mind. And they just put you off. So now you've made it more difficult for yourself. So in your desperation, you're making it more difficult. Because if you're just constantly pushing someone, like constantly pushing and pushing and pushing, they're going to pull back. They're going to pull back. But if you have an effective communication with someone where you're having a conversation with a human being, then they can respond to you and they can talk to you back. And that usually solves problems a lot quicker. And obviously the person will want to help you more and they'll be more likely to help you because they're like, hey, this person's really nice. What can I do? Like maybe they'll go on the phone to their manager. Maybe they'll phone their regional manager. Maybe they'll just go out of their way to try and work out a deal for you internally, which doesn't normally fall by the rules, right? But the second you start pushing someone really hard, they'll fall back. And you're going to make that wall so much harder to cross. You'll make it harder for yourself. So again, when you're going through problems in life, try to stay calm. Try to stay persistent, consistent. Like you know what you want, you know what you want to achieve. Keep going with that. That's absolutely fine. But at the same time, remember that you want to go through these phases. Like you want to try and skip this phase. You want to get through these phases as quickly as you can, so you can get to a good idea. And maybe just communicating with someone more effectively will also help you as well. So again, stay positive, stay calm, stay persistent, stay consistent, and you will be more successful. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Alex Jay 0 to 0. Thank you for watching. In the meantime, peace.